So I've been obsessed with tanks recently, so I bought this game on Steam called Tank Mechanics Simulator. It's like $2. It's normally like not five, $20. So I was thought, wow, it's a crazy good deal. But little did I know that gave me my worst fucking nightmare. Because like as I'm doing the tutorial, the game tells me to disassemble the tank. So I disassembled it. You know, it told me to, okay? And then it told me to clean 2 of the parts. And I did that. I sat there and made me wait like 1 fucking minute. 1 in real life minute. For the parts to fucking clean. I'm like, okay, that's kind of annoying, but whatever. And then it tells me to put the parts back on. So I put the parts back on. It, dead ass, told me to disassemble the tank again. So I disassembled it again. And it told me to reassemble it, and I just kept going back and forth, and I'm sitting there, I don't know what the fuck to do. I have like the tutorial's not telling me to do literally anything else, so I'm sitting there on my fucking ass. I'm like googling like a fucking video on how to do the tutorial. Like I need a tutorial for the tutorial because it's just telling me to disassemble and reassemble the tank over and over again. I'm losing my fucking mind. Okay. Apparently there was a 3rd part that needed to get cleaned. It did not tell me to do that. But that's like, okay, whatever, I'm stupid. I ended up pressing the skip tutorial button after that. Because it wasn't letting me move on. Even after I fucking fixed that. So now I don't have the tutorial. Now I'm kind of just raw dogging the game. And it's whatever. I see this game mode. There's an excavation game. Where you get to excavate tanks, and I was so excited. I was like, wow, that sounds so fun. I get in the car is not moving. I didn't realize that you're supposed to manually start the car, because most games, it just automatically starts the car. I'm like, okay, that's on me. I turn on the engine, I drive around, the controls really suck. I'm just driving down the path, because I don't know where else to go. And I ended up just getting to the edge of the fucking map, and it just teleports me back in. It stops the car for some reason, so I was sitting there with not moving again. I'm like, I don't know why it's not moving, and then I realized I'm just fucking dumb. When it teleported me back into the map, it just stopped the car. I'm like, okay. I start the car again, driving around, it gets stuck in the fucking grass. Like, it's just not moving now, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm looking around because I don't know what to do. I see the tablet. The tablet actually tells me where I need to go. I had no fucking idea it was there. I had no fucking idea. And I'm like, okay. Because, like, I tried checking the map earlier, but I couldn't because, like, I assumed the map button would be M, like every other game, but no, it wasn't. The map had to be accessed from that tablet. So I go to the circle, I go to the highlighted area with my shovel. I'm digging around, I'm digging and digging, I can't find shit. And I'm like, like, mind you, I walked all the way there because the car was still stuck, okay? Yeah, I'm digging. I spent like, what, 5 minutes doing that? I don't know. And then I'm like, I wonder if there was a metal detector in the car that I just left there. Like, maybe I need like a metal detector for this. I go back and realize the metal detector was right there, and it was just so fucking stupid. I was so fucking stupid. I come back with the metal detector. I find the tank. I'm digging. I go to the menu, and I check, and there was only 2 options. That was to tow the tank or clean the tank. I tried towing it, and it was like, oh, you need to clean the tank first. So I tried clicking the clean tank button, and it said the tank needed to be fully dug out. So I started digging, and like, I dig out the entire area. I can't get the dirt out from underneath the tank because the hitbox on the dirt is really bad. And like, even if I try hitting it, the tank, it's just not fucking working. It's not working. And I'm like losing my mind at this point. Like, I spent, I think, like half an hour, maybe an hour, trying to dig out that fucking tank. And I keep checking the buttons. I keep trying to press clean tank, and it just keeps saying that I need to dig out. I need to fully dig out the fucking tank first. And I'm like, I'm trying my best. They won't let me hit the dirt. And eventually, I go back to the tablet to check the map. and there was an excavation button on the tablet, and I'm just sitting there, I'm losing my shit because I just spent like an hour digging out that fucking tank, and there was an excavate button there the entire time. And I'm like, what the fuck was the shovel for then? Like, because I only hit the dirt like once before I found the fucking tank. I thought I was supposed to thing out with it. I thought if there was an excavate button, it would be with all the other buttons about the tank, because the other buttons were in my fucking radial menu and not the tablet. I love that game. I love that game so much. Anyways, I go back to being a mechanic. And I accept an order for like a Panzer 3 tank. And yeah, I'm just working on the tank. I'm derusting it. I'm sandblasting that shit, repainting it and everything. And I have to replace a couple parts. And I bought the parts for the Panzer 3 tank because, you know, that's what the fucking tank is supposed to be. And then I tried putting it on. I tried putting the parts back on. I was working on a Panzer 4, and I don't know where it came from because I didn't accept an order for a Panzer 4. The game spawned a fucking Panzer 4 tank inside my workshop, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know how to switch it out because I checked the map. I went around the map. There's an outside area. That's where the Panzer 3 tank was. I tried taking the tools outside so I could clean the Panzer 3, but I can't take the tools outside. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm fucking stuck. I can't play the game. I'm trying so hard. I want to play the game. I want to like the game so bad. But it just makes me so fucking miserable.